Excuse me. Hey, yeah, can I just get a top up on my bottle real quick?
Oh, yeah, sure, no problem, my guy. Thanks.
What do you do? What are you doing? Hey man, what's your problem?
So, a few months back, I made a video on what the bike industry is doing so wrong, and I said this.
I think that the local shop is more important than it has ever been.
And I definitely do still agree with that statement. I think local bike shops are more important than ever. But down in the comments, a lot of you had your own thoughts. And this is one of the most common comments that I saw over and over and over again was people talking about how bad their local shops actually are. I mean, chances are pretty good that your local bike shop is staffed by absolute asshats. I said hats, YouTube. It's fine, okay? Don't worry about it. Please don't demonetize me. So today, what I want to look at is what the local shops are doing so wrong and what they can do to correct that course. And I would like to say that right off the bat, I'm not going to be going too into depth into things like pricing on bikes or things like that, pricing on accessories, because that really just opens up an entire thing on global supply chain, shortages, supply, demand, all the things that we have been seeing over the last 3 years, really, with the cycling industry. There's plenty of other things out there that we can go into and talk about that, but otherwise, this video would be like 5 hours long, really trying to go into that. So what I want to really focus on today is a few of the other things more on the personal level. Now, so the first thing to discuss is what I like to call the LBS attitude. And I am absolutely sure that all of you know exactly what I'm talking about right when I even just say that sentence. Like, it's just inherent now that when you go into a bike shop, you're probably going to have to deal with some sort of jerk. You know, you go into some new hot shop in town or even some mom and pop that's been there for like 30 years, and a simple question will elicit just an absolute eye roll or a groan. And it's really as unpleasant as it is completely unnecessary, yet it's almost my default when I go into a new shop to just kind of prepare myself and brace for that in case. Like, that's not a good thing, that it's my litmus that I expect to be treated like shit, and then I just kind of hope for the best from there. Like, that's not a good thing. Truly though, while writing this, I thought back to every single time I've gone into a new bike shop, and there is always that hesitancy, and there's always that feeling of, am I going to say something that's going to make me look like an absolute idiot, and I'm going to get completely roasted for it? I mean, what, is every bike shop just my YouTube channel's comment section? And what's crazy is this doesn't really ever seem to be limited to like a certain area. It's not really seems to be any sort of economic thing or anything like that. Based on your comments from all over the world, this is a pretty universal problem and a pretty universal thing that we all understand is just kind of become the norm. So why is it such the norm that every single one of you that's watching this right now probably even has a name in your head of a guy at a local shop that you really just don't get along with? Well, this is one thing that I do have a little bit of insight from the other side as well. As some of you may know and some of you may not, I am actually a professional mechanic. I do work in a shop, and that is my day job. That's where I go during the day and I fix bikes. I am certified through the Barnett Cycling Institute, and yeah, I'm a day-to-day mechanic, so I do see the other side of this. And so what I really feel like is the one thing that contributes to this more than anything is quite simply retail burnout. And I mean, we could all throw around any sort of number of excuses for why this is, but really, when it comes down to it, a bike shop is still a retail store, and the same kind of things apply to any other retail job. And if you've worked retail, you know exactly what I'm talking about here. And if you haven't worked retail or service, then, well, you probably don't tip well, and I don't want to talk to you. With bike shops, the crazy thing is, though, that the majority of them are really staffed by people who, for the most part, do actually have a passion for cycling and a passion for bikes on a certain level. I mean, that's why I left a decently paying corporate job to go work in a bike shop for a pretty substantial pay cut. Please subscribe to the channel. Because I love bikes. And over time, yeah, it can be a little grinding to have to work on a bike that we could probably never ever afford ourselves and see the person who owns it just have no appreciation for it whatsoever and completely thrash it. But here's the thing, and come here. I want every single bike shop employee who's watching this right now to listen and hear something. That doesn't mean you get to treat everyone like total garbage. And really, I'm just using this example to say that I understand that frustration. I do get it. But you don't have the right to take out that frustration on everyone else. Which leads me almost into our next point, which is lecturing instead of educating. You know, so many times you'll go in to bring your bike in for some sort of problem, and it feels like you just get a lecture, like you just got in trouble from your parents. No one likes that feeling. That's not a fun feeling. And that's not what we need to be doing. Instead of just lecturing people and telling them what they did wrong to break their bike, how about we maybe give a little education to help prevent it in the future? And it really just becomes such a turnoff to the sport because it can be so belittling and so dehumanizing. What we need to be doing is really educating our customers on prevention steps and things they can do to mitigate damage and what they need to do to keep their bike well maintained. It's very simple to have these conversations in a constructive manner instead of just a lecturing one. Now, I'm not going to be giving you a training video on how not to be rude because you're an adult. You probably need to figure that one out by yourself. I mean, just imagine for 1 second that you went into a shop that the people were instantly, legitimately excited to help you. Like, that seems almost like a pipe dream, and I know there are those of you out there that have those shops. I've had those shops before, and they are amazing, and they are the greatest thing on the planet. I know it's possible. They can exist. And I'm sure we've all been there before, where you've been checking out some bike for weeks on end, getting really excited to actually see it in person, and then when you go into the shop, the salesperson just leads you in a completely different direction, either trying to upsell you or not listening to what your actual cycling experience is. Which is kind of one of the other major points to talk about, is not making recommendations based on the person that you're actually speaking with and just making broad generalizations about the sport. If you actually have conversations with your customers, these education conversations even, you can learn more about them and what their actual needs are.
He said it again!
You will have a better understanding of what they are going to be using this bike for, how often they're going to be using the bike, what they're really going to be needing to get out of it, and once you do that, we can all have a better experience going to our local shop. Like, guys, we're here to be the experts. We're here to give that advice. So why are more and more people just not wanting to go to their local shop? And you can blame online retailers or YouTubers who teach people how to fix their own bikes all you want. You can do that all day long. But at the end of that day, what it all comes down to is those things sprung up from a desire to want to avoid the local bike shop. And quite frankly, online retailers are almost all of the time cheaper, considerably cheaper. And we can't compete as a local bike store. There are things that we just have to deal with that we can't really compete on prices with some of the online retailers. So how do the local bike shops compete? You compete by being there, by being a physical location that someone can go to get sales and service and just advice. That is how you compete with online retailers. And when you create a hostile environment to new customers, you kill the one thing that can help you stay in the game. You've taken the one advantage you have and you've flushed it. And I know, this can really sound harsh, but I don't want to just sound like I'm attacking local shops because, again, I think they are an invaluable resource and I think they are wonderful. But at the same time, I'm just a little bit angry because I want more people to have the positive experiences. And when I look through my comments, I'm seeing a lot of negatives in here. And that's fine. I'm not mad at you guys. I understand your frustration because, yeah, I've experienced it too, and it drives me insane. I truly do wish that everybody had one of these local shops that they can go in and feel supported. That's the biggest thing, guys. If you're a local shop owner or you're a local shop employee and you're watching this right now, that is the most invaluable thing that we offer, is to actually support people. Stop looking at them as just customers and look at them as friends that you are there to help. And I also want to make it clear that I am not saying don't learn how to do maintenance yourself. I actually want to do some videos where I teach you guys some basic maintenance stuff. I really do think everybody needs to know a certain amount of bike maintenance just to really better understand and appreciate your bike, and it does help prevent those larger bills down the road. So I would love to help give you guys that. But it is a so much better learning experience when you do have that local shop that you can lean on if something goes wrong. And I can tell you, when you are learning how to fix your bike, you will do things wrong. Anyone who tells you they didn't fuck up one time when learning how to fix bikes is an absolute liar. Get away from that person. They are not to be trusted. And I really just don't think it's that big of an ask that physical place that you go to for support doesn't treat you like an inconvenience just by walking through the door. And for those of you that are in one of those deserts where you really just do not have any good support, I really do feel for you. Feel free to reach out to me anytime if you have any questions. I did get a Discord server set up, so I'm going to have that here down in the comments. Please go ahead, feel free to join the Discord server. We're going to have channels in there for maintenance questions, things like that, where I would love to help give you guys some support in that. So I will put that link down in the description. Anyway, that is it for this week. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, I'm going to put the link to that Discord server down in the comments or down in the description down there. It'll be there. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel because it really, 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 really does help me out, and I appreciate it so much. I love talking to you guys down in the comments. I've seen so many great comments in the last couple weeks still on that previous video. So let's keep it going for this one as well. And yeah, this is my thoughts on what the local bike shops are doing so wrong and what I think they can do better. So bye. See you next time. Ride safe.
What can we do for you today?
Hey, so we're just kind of looking for some fun little bikes, that we can take on light trails, kind of ride around the neighborhood with the kids on, something around like the $500-$600 range. What can I get for that?
You can get the out.
Fair enough. Bye.
Well, boy.